This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening. I guess it's almost evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks take on the Sacramento Kings at 6 p.m. tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, the way the New York Giants got trounced and trampled on today, let's hope that the New York Knicks do not repeat that performance, because that was pretty bad from the New York Giants, losing to the Philadelphia 76ers the way that they did in an important division game, conference game, whatever, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I don't want to bring that back up. Let's talk about these New York Knicks on a 3-game win streak, taking on the Sacramento Kings, who are playing very, very good basketball so far this season. The Kings, ladies and gentlemen, are 14-10 on the season. And I know there's been some people that the last time I was on said, let's not make these guys out to be the Golden State Warriors and all that kind of stuff. But folks, these guys can score from the starters to the bench. Now, they do have some injuries or some players who are questionable. De'Aaron Fox is questionable today. Keegan Murray is questionable today. Right? They got a couple other guys who are questionable. Let's see who else is questionable for the Sacramento Kings. For the New York Knicks, Obi Toppin is out. We know that. He's the only significant rotation player that's out. Let's say that. I don't want to say significant. Terrence Davis is also out for the Sacramento Kings. So for the Kings, De'Aaron Fox is out. Alex Len is out. No, I'm sorry. For the Kings, De'Aaron Fox is questionable with a right foot, soreness in his right foot. Keegan Murray is questionable with soreness in his left thumb. Terrence Davis is questionable with a soreness, a sore lower back. And Alex Len is out, all right, for a non-COVID related illness. For the New York Knicks, Obi Toppin is out. All right, non-displaced fracture in his right fibula. Trevor Keels is in the G League. Daquan Jeffries in the G League. Those are two of the two-way players. And Ryan Arcidiacono is out with a left ankle sprain. So that's the rundown as far as who's going to be playing tonight. With De'Aaron Fox being questionable, you're not sure who the starters are going to be with De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray being questionable. You're not sure who the starters are going to be for the Sacramento Kings. I mean, some guys you do know. Domantas Sabonis is going to start. We're going to go over that lineup shortly. All right. But, depending on who starts, obviously, it's going to dictate what the defensive matchups are and what the bench looks like. But either way you go about it, ladies and gentlemen, this is a high-scoring team. The Sacramento Kings come into this game being one of the highest-scoring teams in the NBA. And, their team, they move the ball. They get a lot of assists. They are going to be tough to deal with. They are second in the league in scoring behind the Boston Celtics. All right, they are fourth in the league in assists behind the Golden State Warriors, the Denver Nuggets, and the Sacramento Kings. And then the Sacramento Kings. All right, they're third in the league in field goal percentage behind the Nuggets and the Nets. All right, they are a team that can score the basketball, ladies and gentlemen. They're eighth in the league in free throw attempts. The Knicks, by the way, are 6th in the league in free throw attempts, which is a good thing. All right, the Knicks take 25 attempts per game. So this is not going to be an easy game. This is going to be, the Knicks are going to have to be on their game defensively. Now, they've played some very good defense over the past 3 games. The New York Knicks have. Let's hope that the trend continues, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now, does it have to do with that 9-man rotation? I'm pretty positive it does. Right? Not just that, but who's in the 9-man rotation plays a big part in the reason why the Knicks are playing a high level of defense over the last 3 games, let's say. Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, these guys have been in that rotation. Their defensive rating over the last 3 games has been 93.5, ladies and gentlemen. That's tough defense. We'll see if they can continue to play that level of defense. And they'll need it tonight. If they're going to have a chance of winning this basketball game, which I believe they have a chance to win this game because the Sacramento Kings are not good defensively. At least so far this season, they haven't been good defensively. So if the Knicks can score, I bumped the microphone. If the Knicks can score and at least be good, close out defensively, try to make it hard for the Sacramento Kings to score, maybe hold them to lower than their field goal percentage for the season, than their average for the season, they'll give themselves a chance to win today. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be an interesting game for the New York Knicks because they've been playing really good defense. And we want to see them continue that defensive effort. Over the last 3 games, ladies and gentlemen, opponents have been shooting 38.9% against the Knicks. They've been averaging 90.7 points against the Knicks, the last 3 opponents. 3-point percentage, 20.6% against the Knicks over the last 3 games. They've been averaging 41 rebounds. So the Knicks have been dominating the last 3 games when you think about it. Dominating. Teams, are taking 84 attempts the last 3 games, 84 field goal attempts, only making 32.7%. Only making 32.7 attempts against the Knicks. So we'll see if that trend continues tonight. All right, this defense is going to be tested by a high-powered offense. When we talk about the Sacramento Kings and what they do defensively, over the last 3 games, ladies and gentlemen, opponents have been scoring 107.3 points per game. All right, they've been shooting 45.2% from 3. Opponents have been shooting 37.5% against the Sacramento Kings. They've been turning the ball over, 14.3 turnovers. That's about what the Knicks average. Offensively, over the last 3 games, let's take a look at that. All right, because, we're talking about how high-powered of an offensive team the Sacramento Kings are. Let's see what they've been doing over the last 3 games. Then we're going to break down what they've been doing for the season, so on and so forth. They're coming off of a victory versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Over the last 3 games, they've been averaging 109.7 points, shooting 48% from the field, 36% from 3. Only averaging 23.3 assists, 15 turnovers. All right, they're 2-1 in their last 3 games. As for the New York Knicks, over the last 3 games on the offensive side of the ball, the Knicks have been averaging 108.7 points per game, still only shooting 43% from the field and 35.4% from 3. 16 turnovers over the last 3 games for the New York Knicks. But they're 3-0 in the last 3 games because their defense has been shutting teams down. So we will see. How that goes today. Let's take a look at possible starting lineups, projected starting lineups. And again, not exactly sure right now at this moment as of the 4:30 NBA injury report. We're not sure exactly who's going to play for the Sacramento Kings because De'Aaron Fox is questionable. Keegan Murray is questionable. So as we're taking a look at the projected starting lineups for the Knicks, we know who it's going to be. Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. We know that. But for the Sacramento Kings, it's either going to be De'Aaron Fox or Davion Mitchell. De'Aaron Fox did not play versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Davion Mitchell started at the point guard spot versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we know Davion Mitchell is a defensive-minded guard, all right, who can, he can play some aggressive defense, and he can put up some points. The Sacramento Kings beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 106-95. And as the starting point guard, Davion Mitchell had 8 points, 6 assists. All right, for the season, Davion Mitchell was averaging 6 points and 2.4 assists. So that's definitely a big hit to their offense. Maybe it improves their defense some, but it's a big hit to their offense if De'Aaron Fox is not playing. Keegan Murray did play. He had 18 points versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, averaging 11.7 on the season. Okay, so those 2 guys are questionable, and we'll see what happens come game time. You got Kevin Huerter at the shooting guard spot. He's been having a pretty good season for the Sacramento Kings so far this year. He's averaging 15.6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. But, ladies and gentlemen, he's shooting 42.6% from the three-point line, and he attempts 7 of those threes per game. 7. Makes 3 of them. We can't let this dude get loose. So who guards Kevin Huerter is going to depend on if De'Aaron Fox is playing or not, in my opinion. But we can't let this dude get loose. 42.6% from the three-point line, averaging 15.6 points per game. All right, listen, he's a lightning quick shooter. You remember him from Atlanta. As soon as the ball is on his fingertips, he's able to let it go. Then you got Harrison Barnes playing that small forward spot. He can play small forward or power forward. He's averaging 13.8 points per game. He's shooting the ball 31.8% from 3, 49.5% from the field. Pretty decent defender, right? Crafty veteran. He's 30 years old. He's been in the league for a while. Crafty veteran. Knows how to play basketball. All right, so, he obviously is somebody that you got to watch because, he's a guy that can drop 20 on any night as well. Then you got Domantas Sabonis. I already told you Keegan Murray's numbers. Domantas Sabonis, he's averaging 17 points and 11 rebounds this season. Basically what he does on a regular basis. He's shooting 38% from the three-point line, 60% from the field. He's also averaging 6.5 assists per game. All right, now, who's guarding Domantas Sabonis? It's a tough one, to figure out who's going to guard who, right? As it is, if De'Aaron Fox starts, if he's playing, not if he starts, if he's playing, I'm not sure. I'm assuming you got to put Quentin Grimes on De'Aaron Fox, right? And then I'm a little bit conflicted. If Quentin Grimes is guarding De'Aaron Fox, I'm a little conflicted as to who is going to guard Huerter or Barnes. Because with Kevin Huerter, you need someone who can chase him. He's like 6'7". Okay, so he can definitely shoot over Jalen Brunson. That scares me. Because Jalen Brunson is barely 6'1". Then Harrison Barnes is 6'8". So who guards Harrison Barnes? Because I would probably, I don't know, do you put RJ Barrett on, if Fox starts, do you put RJ Barrett on Huerter? And then Jalen Brunson on Barnes? Probably not, because Barnes is a guy that can post for sure. So you probably end up putting Brunson on Huerter and RJ Barrett on Barnes, just based off a style of play. Unless you're going RJ Barrett on Huerter, Randle on Barnes, and Jalen Brunson on Murray or Miles. And maybe that's the way that you have to go, even though, Keegan Murray is still, Keegan Murray, he can still score. He's still 6'8", 225. A little bit younger. He's 22 years old. You know what I mean? So maybe Jalen Brunson, maybe he's not as advanced in the IQ department, which would allow Jalen Brunson to guard him a little bit better. So it seems, when you look at these matchups, it seems that Mitchell Robinson is definitely going to be on Sabonis. That concerns me a little bit. I never realized that Sabonis was 7'1", but that's what he's listed as. I always thought he was like 6'10", but he's listed at 7'1". So that's definitely going to be Mitchell Robinson's assignment, base assignment, let me say that. Julius Randle, I'm sure, will guard Domantas Sabonis at some point during this game. Maybe from the beginning. Maybe you put Randle on Sabonis from the beginning. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how Tom Thibodeau matches up with this basketball team defensively. Now, and I see D's World of Hoop says Brunson on Huerter, and I think I agree, right? You go with Brunson on Huerter just because, at the very least, Huerter's not going to post him up. And if he can stay with him, get in his shooting space, you know what I mean? Maybe you can disrupt his shot just a little bit. Harrison Barnes is going to post him up. You know what I mean? So that's not going to be a good look for Jalen Brunson. So, yeah, I guess you probably go with Grimes on Fox, Brunson on Huerter, Barrett on Murray or Lyles, and Randle on Barnes, and then Mitch on Sabonis. But that is going to be it's going to be interesting to watch and see how these matchups take place tonight. I don't even have a graphic for the defensive matchups because I'm not sure. I wasn't sure. I needed to talk it through on the show. You know what I mean? I really needed to talk it through. Now, if Davion Mitchell is starting at the point guard spot because Fox is not playing, that changes your defensive matchups right there. That means Jalen Brunson will guard Davion Mitchell. Grimes on Huerter, most likely. And then you still got to deal with, do you want RJ Barrett to be on Keegan Murray or Trey Lyles or Randle and Randle on Barnes, or, how do you want that to work? Me, I still kind of think you go with Randle on Barnes, right? Because, Barnes is probably stronger than RJ. He's not, He's not going to be going off the dribble a lot. He's not going to be, he's going to, play the mid-range game and post up. Some catch and shoots, maybe some screen and rolls, pick and pops, things like that. We'll see. These lineups are going to be interesting to watch, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be interesting. As far as going the other way, the Sacramento Kings, I would think they'll probably have heard Fox or Mitchell on Brunson, especially if Mitchell is starting at point guard. He'll be on Brunson. Kevin Huerter probably on Grimes. Barnes probably on Randle. Sabonis on Mitch, right? And Murray /or Lyles on R.J. Barrett. So I think it probably goes the other way. I'm a little concerned about Mitchell Robinson and Sabonis. I don't want Mitch to get into foul trouble. Sabonis can take you inside. He can take you outside. Right? So that can pose some trouble. Jericho Sims needs to be ready to go. Obviously, Hartenstein needs to be ready to go as well. All right. And if Mitchell Robinson does get into some foul trouble, Cam Reddish might need to be ready to go. And I know I keep bringing Cam up. And Tom Thibodeau decided not to play him. Even though Obi Toppin was out, instead he inserted Jericho Sims into the rotation. I'm expecting him to insert Jericho Sims, that be his first power forward, four-man off the bench. But if Mitchell Robinson is in some foul trouble, which I hope he does not get into foul trouble, right? But if he is in some foul trouble, then I would expect Cam Reddish to maybe get some burn just in case Mitchell Robinson's in foul trouble. Because then Jericho Sims may need to play, some minutes with the starting group, which would allow some minutes at the 4 spot off the bench. All right, so we'll see. We'll see. Mitchell Robinson, don't foul. That's all. Just don't foul. Be disciplined. Stay on your feet. You don't have to block every shot. Just contest it with your arms up. All right? Because we need that offensive rebounding. We need the defensive rebounding. One of the reasons the Knicks have been so good lately over the last 3 games and been on this 3-game winning streak is because they've been able to rebound. They've dominated the glass. I just read those numbers to you a little bit earlier. They've dominated the glass. So they need to continue to dominate the glass. And this is a team that they've only been grabbing about 42 rebounds per game. Now, the reason why is because they shoot the ball well. So they're not really grabbing as many offensive rebounds because they shoot the ball well. So it makes their rebounding numbers look lower. All right. But the Knicks have got to stay on that glass. The Knicks need Mitchell Robinson out there to be effective and to be dominant on the glass. All right. When you look at the Sacramento Kings in rebounding, defensive rebounding, ladies and gentlemen, they're 8th in the league in defensive rebounding. So they're not a bad defense. They're not a bad rebounding team per se. Offensive rebounding, they're not that good, but they also shoot the ball at a high clip. All right, they're last in the league in offensive rebounding. But remember, they shoot the ball, 49.4%, 3rd in the league. Okay, and when you look at the top teams, when you look at the Denver Nuggets, right, they shoot the ball at 50% from the field. Offensive rebounds, 10.3. Okay, which is, 16th in the league. Right? When you look at the Brooklyn Nets, they grab 8.1 offensive rebounds. The Boston Celtics, they grab 8.2 offensive rebounds. They shoot the ball at 49%. Okay, so the Sacramento Kings are not a bad not a bad rebounding team. They just don't grab as many offensive rebounds because they shoot the ball so well. right? So the Knicks got to dominate the glass. The Knicks are going to need to, because they don't shoot the ball as well, they'll need to continue to dominate the offensive glass. That's why Mitchell Robinson is so important. Looking at the bench for the Knicks, you got Emmanuel Quickly, Miles McBride, Jericho Sims, and iHeart. This is what we think the bench is going to be tonight. And then for the Kings, Davion Mitchell, if he's not starting, you got Davion Mitchell, you got Malik Monk, you got Mitu, and you got Lyles. Now, this Sacramento Kings bench, ladies and gentlemen, is averaging 41.1 points per game. 41.1. They shoot the ball at 48% from the field, 34.9% from three. So when the bench units are in, we got to play some defense. We've got to D up against this team. If not, we'll be in trouble. All right, because they're a team, they can score. They can score the ball on the bench. Now, obviously, they have some injuries, so their bench may not look the same. So that goes in favor of the Knicks. But Malik Monk is coming off the bench, averaging 14.5 points per game and 4 assists. All right. You got to watch that guy. You can't let that guy get loose and start going crazy, because he will get loose and start going crazy. All right. Now, they got a guy in Terrence Davis that normally gets some good playing time. He's only averaging 7, but he's questionable for tonight. That'll hurt their bench a little bit. All right. But the Knicks will need, Emmanuel Quickly is going to be matched up. And this might be, we talk about key matchups in this game. Emmanuel Quickly will probably be matched up with Malik Monk. And that might be a super key matchup right there. Emmanuel Quickly and Malik Monk. That could be a fun one to watch. That could be a real fun one to watch. A lot of, maybe a lot of crazy shots going up in that matchup. A lot of wild shots or something. But their bench is good. 9.4 assists for their bench. All right, the Knicks bench, we average 36.2 points per game. Obviously, it's a little bit different right now because Derrick Rose isn't playing, no Cam Reddish, etc. But 36.2 points, 18.6 rebounds. The Knicks out-rebound their bench so much because they shoot so much better. We just talked about that. 8.5 assists for the Knicks bench. The Knicks bench is only shooting 43.8% from the field and 32% from the three-point line. All right, so this bench matchup is going to be important. No doubt about it. It's going to be important. It's going to be an important one. I want to see. I'm not expecting to see Cam unless there's a situation. He's situational, but I want to continue to see the way Sims and Hartenstein, the way that they grow as bench players together. If this while Obi is out, if this continues to be the bench unit, because Obi's out for 2 to 3 weeks at the very least. At the very least, they're out 2 to 3 weeks. So, I want to continue to see how that grows and develops. Because, Hartenstein, like I said before, he can shoot 3 a little bit. He can rebound the ball, but he can also pass. And then you got Sims, who can spread the floor vertically, bang inside, grab some rebounds, block some shots too. When you talk about, we talked a little bit about the benches. Let's talk about the starters. For the starters of each team, the the Knicks starters average 77.7 points per game. The Sacramento Kings starters average 77.6 points per game. Okay, so their bench unit is a big factor in them winning basketball games. All right, now their starters shoot 50% from the field. And, of course, the Knicks starters are down towards the bottom of the league and shooting 46.1% from the field as a starting unit. 3-point percentage, the Sacramento Kings starters are ninth in the league at 37%. And, of course, the Knicks starters are 25%. I mean, not 25%, 25th in the league, excuse me. Now, if you want to break down the last 3 games, looking at the starters, the Sacramento Kings over the last 3 games, their starters have been, 19th in the league in scoring, while the Knicks has been 17th in the league. 3-point shooting over the last 3 games, the Kings still high, 41.8%. The Knicks much better, 35.7%. Of course, the Knicks 3-0 in the last 3 games. The Sacramento Kings 2-1 in the last 3 games. If you want to look at the benches over the last 3 games because of injuries and players being out of the lineups, et cetera, right now, points over the last 3 games, because this is telling, the Sacramento Kings bench 31 points because some of their bench has been playing in this starting unit. And for the New York Knicks, the same issue. Their bench just behind the Sacramento Kings in scoring at 28.7 points per game because they've had people out. 3-point shooting for the Sacramento Kings. Their bench is 28th in the league in 3-point shooting over the last 3 games, while the Knicks bench is 15th in 3-point shooting over the last 3 games. Interesting game tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the New York Knicks. It's going to be real interesting to see how this thing actually works out. What the matchups look like, who plays, what the matchups look like, so on and so forth. When you look at just your straight-up team comparison for the season, the Knicks are 13-13 on the season. They won 3 straight. They were just 10-13. We'll see if they can win their 4th straight. All right, they're averaging 113.9 points per game, 47 rebounds, 23.7 assists. You know the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Just about 7 steals, 4.5 blocks, 14 turnovers, shooting 45% from the field and 32.2% from the 3-point line. The Sacramento Kings are 14-10 on the season. And that lands them at 14-10 in the Western Conference. The Sacramento Kings are currently 5th in the Western Conference. And for the New York Knicks, 13-13 lands them in the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks can do themselves a favor by winning today, of course. Above the New York Knicks are the Atlanta Hawks, the Indiana Pacers, and the Philadelphia 76ers. And today, you have the Hawks are playing the Bulls. The 76ers are playing the Hornets. Right? That should be a good game between the Hawks and the Bulls. The 76ers will probably beat the Hornets. All right, so maybe there's a chance the Knicks can make a move. If they win and the Hawks lose, maybe there's a chance the Knicks can make a move to jump into that 7th spot. Now, if somehow, some way the Hornets beat the Philadelphia 76ers, then maybe the Knicks can actually jump into that 6th spot, depending on what happens in the Eastern Conference today. All right, so it's going to be a good game. Julius Randle, over the last few games, has been playing very good basketball. He had a good one again versus the Charlotte Hornets. His shooting percentage wasn't as good as it had been. but he's playing good basketball all the way around. He's playing under control. He's making good decisions, in my opinion. Right? From time to time, he's going to make bad decisions. That's going to happen. But for the most part, he's been making good decisions, especially over the last few games. Right? I mean, he had 33 against Charlotte, 34 against in his previous game against Cleveland. We'll see if Julius Randle can continue to play at such a high clip. It's going to be necessary for the Knicks to continue to win basketball games, right? If he can play at such a high clip. Let's see what I'm interested to see what everything looks like over the last 3 games for Julius Randle. I'm going to pull it up right now, and let's see exactly what he's been doing over the past few games. For the New York Knicks, Julius Randle's been leading the team in scoring over the last 3 games, 28.3 points per game, 44% from the field, and 38% from the three-point line. And then R.J. Barrett, 18.7 points, still just 41% from the field, 31% from the three-point line. Then Jalen Brunson at 14 points, 7 assists. Over the last 3 games, though, only shooting 28% from the field, 30% from 3. Quentin Grimes, he's been averaging 12.7 points over the last 3 games, 52% from the field and 40% from 3. He's starting to find his footing out there. Starting to find his footing. Emmanuel Quickly, he's only averaged 10 points over the last 3 games, 44% from the field, but 44% from the three-point line. All right, so the Knicks shooting over the last 3 games has definitely gone up. All right, over the last 3 games from 3, Randle, again, 38%. RJ, 31%. Brunson, 30%. But Quentin Grimes, 40%. Emmanuel Quickly, 44%. Isaiah Hartenstein, not many shots, but 50%. And Miles McBride is shooting 30%, but he's starting to get a little bit more into the flow because he's getting minutes now, consistent minutes. All right, so he's getting better. All right, the Knicks will need, though, when you're looking at the bench, the current bench over the last 3 games, Quickly 10, Hartenstein 8, Miles McBride 4, Obi's not playing, Jericho Sims 3. The Knicks will need. It'd be nice if the Knicks could get a little bit more punch off the bench. Obi has been averaging, just 4 points. Obviously, he only, 1 game he didn't play, but the Knicks are going to need a little bit more punch off the bench. That's 10, 8, that's 18, 24, that's 28 points. Well, we just talked about it, being 28 points off the bench. The Knicks are going to need more, especially to compete with the Sacramento Kings. I don't know who, besides Emmanuel Quickly, unless Quickly can have one of those monster games. It doesn't have to be a monster game. If Quickly can be 22, 23, 24 points, that'll help out the Knicks tremendously. But I think the Knicks are going to need some help off the bench to win tonight. Who's going to be to give you that help? Unless Randle has a monster night, or RJ or Jalen, right? RJ played very well against the Charlotte Hornets. He shot efficiently from the field. All right, played a good basketball game. All right. Jalen Brunson didn't play too well, didn't shoot well. I think for this game, though, if the Knicks are going to win this game, their defense has to be on point, but they're also going to need help scoring. Randle's got to get his, right? Randle's got to get his. RJ's got to be efficient. Brunson's got to be efficient. And then you need somebody else, either Quentin Grimes or Emmanuel Quickly, I guess, to have a really good basketball game. So this is going to be Interesting to see. So I'm seeing in the chat, someone said Fox is out, Murray is available. I guess, I haven't seen the NBA update as of yet. Maybe you get that information from Twitter or wherever. But if Fox is out, obviously that's a good thing for the New York Knicks. Right? If Fox really is out, that's good for the Knicks because that slows their offense down. You know what De'Aaron Fox is and how he plays. He's fast, and he plays fast. But he's also under control when he plays. But Davion Mitchell just isn't the type of scorer that De'Aaron Fox is. You know what I mean? And it also changes your lineups or your defensive matchups. Because now, if De'Aaron Fox is out, this is when you can go with Jalen Brunson on Davion Mitchell, Quentin Grimes on Kevin Huerter, then R.J. Barrett probably on Murray, and Julius Randle on Harrison Barnes. And then Mitchell Robinson on Sabonis. Like as your base matchups. You know what I mean? So, D's World of Hoops said, could Brunson play Davion Mitchell? I believe so. I don't think, that's going to be too much of an issue for Jalen Brunson to play Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell this season is not averaging, he's not killing it offensively. I picture him as more of a defensive minded guard. I know in the past he's had some good games. He's played well, but I think Jalen Brunson should be just fine on Davion Mitchell. I think, Davion Mitchell so far this season, he's averaging 6.6 points per game, 2.4 assists. Now his minutes, he's only getting 20 minutes per game so far this season. He shoots 45% from the field and 30.2% from the three-point line. He's 6 foot. I think Jalen Brunson will be just fine on Davion Mitchell. But it does even out the matchups a little bit, in my opinion. I think it makes the matchups a little better for the New York Knicks in this situation if De'Aaron Fox is out. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see how this game turns out. If the Knicks get this win, Kenneth Hatcher said that Sacramento ruled him out. So there you go. Right, that he's ruled out. If the Knicks get this win, that'll be 4 in a row. 4 wins in a row over teams in the playoff picture. Obviously, the Knicks beat the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox is not playing, so, it is what it is. You play who's in front of you. The Knicks can't control who plays and who doesn't play. You got to get the win, right? Or you got to come out and perform. But if they get this win, it'll be 4 in a row for the Knicks. And it's exactly what I was saying to Uncle Fulio the other day, right? When he was making these sweeping indictments about the Knicks and that he was right about the season and this and that. And I said, well, what are you going to say if they come back and they win 3, 4, 5 in a row? And we haven't heard from Uncle Fulio since. And maybe he's listening. I don't know. Right? But we haven't heard from Uncle Fulio since. So, Uncle Fulio, show up now. You know what I mean? Show up now. You were saying all of this, hashtag Uncle Fulio is right again and all of this stuff. But where you been since they've won 3 straight? You've been ghost. Been out of here. Been gone. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to say now. Anyway, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm jumping up out of here. I'll be back on after the game. All right, so the game starts at 6. I'll probably be on between 8:30 and 8:45. All right, 8:30, 8:45. I will be on doing the post-game show, and hopefully talking about a Knicks win. Should be a good one tonight. Should be a fun one to watch, right? If you talk about key matchups, after talking myself through it, I kind of feel like one of the biggest matchups is going to be Emmanuel Quickley and Malik Monk. I really do. Because I think both teams, especially with De'Aaron Fox being out, is going to need a boost from the bench. And which one of those guys can give their team the biggest boost? So that could be the most important matchup of the night for real. Because I expect those two guys to probably face off and defend each other from the bench, or when they get in the game, or when they're in the game at the same time. Obviously, Julius Randle and Domantas Sabonis, R.J. Barrett, Kevin Huerter, or Quentin Grimes and Kevin Huerter. Right? R.J. Barrett, Harrison Barnes, although he may not be guarding Harrison Barnes. Those guys. But, yeah, with De'Aaron Fox being out, Jalen Brunson hopefully should win his matchup against Davion Mitchell. And then I think that Malik Monk and Emmanuel Quickley is going to be an important matchup to watch. And it could very well be that whichever one of those guys if one of those guys is able, I don't want to say whichever one, but if one of those guys is able to have a big night for their team, that could be the team that walks away with the victory. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I will see you on the post-game show. All right? And, enjoy it. I'll let you go and get your food and get ready and all of that good stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to go do the same. And I'll talk to you in the post-game. I'm out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.